the female dog who saved my life from attack of rabid dog. It was during the early days of summer when I first noticed her thin, cautious, yet spirited, a stray female dog with a sandy coat and soulful eyes, who began appearing in the quiet streets of our neighborhood like a whisper of something wild. I didn't know her story, where she came from, or why she chose our block, but something in her gaze felt oddly familiar. Perhaps it was loneliness, or maybe, like me, she was just looking for a friend. Until one morning, I wasn't alone. She was there, sitting a little distance away, not too close, not too far, alert, watching. At first, I ignored her. Stray dogs were common around here, and most kept to themselves unless provoked. But the next morning, she was there again, and the next a soft pattern began weaving itself into my days. My morning she never barked, never growled, just watched. Sometimes, when I sat alone reading under the old neem tree, she'd curl up nearby, content just to exist in the same space. I began calling her Luna, a name that felt soft and regal, fitting for her gentle soul. Luna became a part of my routine. In the mornings, she would sprint toward me the moment I opened the door, her legs flying like the wind, her face lit up with unfiltered joy. We played with a rubber ball I found in our backyard. I'd throw it, she'd chase it down, return, and wag her tail as if it were the greatest accomplishment in the world. For hours, she brought me smiles I hadn't known I'd needed. For 3 months, Luna and I were inseparable. Even on rainy days, when most stray dogs would hide, she'd find shelter under our porch and wait, her golden eyes glowing with patience. I began sneaking her scraps of food from the kitchen, meat bones, stale biscuits, anything I could find. My mother noticed, of course, but she never scolded me. Maybe she saw what Luna was doing for me. Then, everything changed. It was a Sunday morning when it happened. At the corner of the street, a dark, snarling figure appeared, a rabid dog. Its coat was matted, fur caked in dirt and dried blood, foam hanging from its mouth like a grotesque beard. It moved erratically, staggering sideways, then forward again, and then directly toward me. My feet froze, panic surged through my chest like wildfire. I had read stories of rabid dogs attacking children, of painful deaths from infection. And then, Luna moved. Like a flash of lightning, she threw herself between me and the approaching threat. She didn't hesitate. She didn't think twice. She charged with a ferocity I'd never seen in her before. The two dogs collided with a sickening crunch. Snarls, growls, and cries of pain filled the air. I screamed, helpless, as the rabid dog tried to clamp its jaws onto Luna's throat. But she was faster. She bit down on its leg, yanked it sideways, and kicked with her hind legs. Blood sprayed across the pavement. My legs trembled. My fists clenched. I wanted to run. I wanted to help, but I was frozen. Then she collapsed. After Luna passed, everything around me felt quieter. The porch, once echoing with her excited barks and scratching paws, stood silent. Our favorite reading spot looked lonelier. Even the ball she used to chase lay forgotten in a corner, slowly gathering dust like an artifact from a lost era. Everyone around me tried to help. My mother began placing warm tea on the porch railing, perhaps hoping I'd come back out. My uncle, who had driven Luna to the vet that day, sat beside me one evening and said, "Animals don't die when they leave. They live on in the people they protected." It was a nice thought, but I didn't feel protected. I felt empty. One day, nearly a month after her death, I returned to the field behind our house where Luna was buried. I hadn't been back since the day we laid her to rest. The grass had grown tall, brushing my ankles as I walked slowly toward the peepal tree. The stone marker was still there, though slightly tilted from recent rains. I sat down beside it and spoke to her, not expecting answers, just needing to let the words escape. I told her how much I missed her, how the house felt too quiet, how I wished I could have saved her instead. I sat there for hours, long after the sky turned orange, watching birds dance in the air above the tree that shaded her grave. And slowly, something began to shift. The memory of Luna didn't stay trapped in sadness forever. Over time, her story turned into something else, something I needed to share. It started with a school assignment. I wrote about Luna, about her strength, about her sacrifice, about the way she looked at me, even when she was dying, as if to say, I did what I came for. When I read it aloud in class, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. Even my teacher wiped her eyes before applauding softly. That was the first time I realized that Luna's story wasn't just mine, it was something people needed to hear. Soon after, I submitted a version of the story to the local newspaper. They published it in the weekend column under the title, "The Dog Who Died a Hero." I started giving talks at schools, narrating her story to children. I wanted them to understand that animals feel pain, love, and loyalty just like we do. That behind every stray dog is a heart that can save a life. The story of Luna, once scribbled in a notebook, turned into a spoken word piece, a podcast interview, and eventually, a short documentary produced by local college students. People began calling me the dog boy, some teasingly, most affectionately, but I didn't mind. It meant Luna lived on. 5 years passed. As I stood there, a small sound caught my attention, a tiny yelp. I turned my head and saw a trembling puppy by the gate. Brown fur, big ears, and eyes full of confusion. Someone must have abandoned it in the night. I crouched slowly and held out my hand. The puppy didn't run. Instead, it took slow, hesitant steps toward me and licked my palm. My throat tightened. I whispered, "Luna."